Hello there and happy Halloween 2024 if I got this video out on time. And this is a request, hopefully I managed to remember to also put up who requested it, about the Big Top, the alien spaceship and home to the invading, carnivorous, nasty aliens we simply know and love as the killer clowns from outer space, whose whole shtick is kind of, aside from just being creepy, I mean, come on. Clowns can be creepy. No shade on the people that are clowns, or the people that like them, or the people that have a fetish about them. They exist. But they're creepy. They're a little bit creepy. So are mimes, right? Okay? I'm out there. They're mimes and clowns. They're creepy. I don't get it. I don't get the whole thing. But these guys ain't no clowns. They aren't some guy just wants to entertain some kids, just wants to make a few people laugh, whether you do or you don't. These guys are gonna cocoon you in cotton candy, sort of, and they are going to melt you and drink you up through a straw. Nasty way to go. Please like, share and subscribe before we get started, and if you enjoy this video, please leave a comment at the end telling me if you remember this relatively cult movie, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. 1980s perfection, in my opinion. One of the best horror movies ever made, and it's also damn creepy. So let's just get into it, because I also forgot to charge my camera, so we're doing this audio only. The Killer Clowns themselves were a race of extraterrestrial beings with very advanced technology that I'm going to say has a sort of Time Lord-esque element to it, where, for example, the technology is such an advanced level that it almost seems magical to us. From a human point of view, their technology and their science is so far beyond us, it defies comprehension and logic as to how it works. Shadow puppets that can actually kill you, popcorn that, kills you. They use big horns that will cocoon you in what looks like cotton candy. The aliens themselves take on the general visage of being bipedal humanoids, with large mouths, sharp teeth, but they dress and generally appear like a clown. Now, the thing that isn't clear is how much of their technology and general physical appearance is deliberate, as in they intentionally want it to look like a clown. Are they wearing makeup? They obviously made the clothing on purpose. Their ship looking like a big top. Is that intentional? Are we talking like the TARDIS here and it just appears how it needs to appear? Or is that actually how their technology and their science on their homeworld is? And their entire homeworld is just a carnival from hell, populated by carnivorous clowns that just eat you. I mean, what the hell? How does a race like that even evolve? But let's get past that. It's not entirely clear. Do they do this as some kind of camouflage to blend in long enough to get close to you, or do they actually have pale white skin, big red noses, big red lips? Generally, on their big red noses, that is the clown's only weakness. If you ever come face to face with a killer clown, you gotta destroy the nose. Forget the heart. Forget anything like that. Bullets, they ain't gonna work. Nothing's gonna bother these guys. You gotta destroy the nose, man. You gotta destroy the nose. The clowns themselves, again, their technology almost seems magical. It is reminiscent, though, of many Earth-based clown and circus-associated paraphernalia. Again, their general visage and appearance, the guns and equipment that they do carry, the fact that they wrap you in something that looks like cotton candy, they have popcorn guns, they create balloon animals that can track you, that literally become almost animalistic, but again, this is science and technology just on a whole other level. When we do see some of the inner workings of their ship, we do see that they actually have some pretty sophisticated technology. The Big Top itself is a large starship. We see come to Earth, and it looks a bit like a sort of tabletop spinner, as it approaches Earth and lands, and then it just sort of looks like a tent on the ground. But when you go inside it, it's actually multi-layered. There are lifts that go up and down, although it is visually obvious that different levels are different sizes. It seems to change as you move from area to area. There are some sections of it that seem to go on and on and on, and other areas that you can move around in quite crampedly. But all of it is fitting inside what seems to be just a tent, effectively. But it clearly isn't, meaning it's bigger on the inside. These guys are Time Lords from hell. They're not just clowns. So there is something about their technology that is incredibly advanced but hidden behind this sort of brightly coloured visage. The interior of the ship, as well as the exterior, belies its technology. It's very sumptuous, bright colours, and is, I'm not going to say pleasing on the eye, but is generally hiding the sheer advanced science and physics that goes into their science and technology. Much of the ship is unexplored. We don't see many areas of it, what kind of propulsion it's using, if it's utilizing some kind of FTL or does it sort of dimension jump or whatever. If spatial folding technology, it's not entirely clear, but these people came to Earth to feed, and that's exactly what they were doing. They were gathering people up and they were putting them into cocoons that would slowly dissolve you, and they put you into this large storage area, which is the cargo bay of the ship, for lack of a better term. But it looked like it just was a load of hanging baskets of cotton candy, but when you rip into them, there is a bloody human mess inside, dissolving away. All of their technology is designed to mimic more placid, harmless technology associated with the circus clowns of Earth, which does, again, make an argument for a chameleon circuit here. That they're not necessarily like this, really, but they are appearing this way so they can get close to you. That their physical appearance, perhaps their anatomy, is close to that of a clown from Earth, so they just decided to, well, we're going to attack Earth, so we'll appear that way, because those stupid human meatbags, those upright monkeys, aren't going to notice until it's too late that the pizza tray actually contains for some reason, an entire clown inside of it that's gonna warp you. And they come up with some pretty inventive ways of doing it. Also, they demonstrate incredible physical strength, although this could again be technologically assisted when a human starts a fight with one and makes a innocuous statement of, "You're gonna knock my block off," and it literally punches his head off. Another one, again, it creates shadow puppets on the wall that literally eat people. Although it should be pointed out that the clowns don't actually consume you by tearing off chunks of flesh and eating you. They don't cook you. They melt you and they drink you. It's possible they don't have a digestive system that can handle solid food, and as a result the way they process their meat is into a paste or liquid that they can then more readily absorb. Meaning that perhaps they become very dependent on their technology to process their food, or the environment on their homeworld naturally dissolves it or something. Or if they have some kind of natural way of doing it, is not entirely clear. Again, many things about them don't make a great deal of sense. The ship itself, how it's controlled and piloted, not clear, but it does have a captain or command officer, or sometimes affectionately known as Clownzilla. Clownzilla was a giant clown who was eventually encountered towards the end, and he was the leader of the other clowns and was in control of the ship overall. When he was destroyed, the vessel was destroyed. He basically had his nose blown up, and his explosion, as his body blew up, it took out the ship with it, although it is noted that this didn't actually kill all the clowns that were on board. Again, you got to destroy the nose, so you assume that as long as their noses survived, the clowns survived. And many of them managed to get out or escape, get onto escape pods or something. They did actually survive. So the ship has some redundancy to allow the crew to escape or whatever. Again, some form of escape pod maybe, teleporters maybe, or just dumb luck that they weren't on board it somehow. There is sexual dimorphism amongst the killer clowns, as there are anatomically male clowns that we see predominantly, but we do see aboard the ship, although it's not known if there's any kind of divide between the genders, as in the females were meant to stay on the ship, but we do encounter female clowns aboard the ship. But again, if we go back to the idea that this might not be the true appearance of the clowns, that they were merely camouflaging themselves, this also might not be true. They could all be the same gender, they could have no gender. There's any number of options. Also, what we perceive as male and female from their species point of view might not be, but we got to assume that perhaps this is their natural appearance because it's in lieu of any other information, so there does appear to be sexual dimorphism amongst the species. The vessel's speed and FTL capabilities are completely unknown. It's also not entirely clear if the vessel is armed, but my feeling would be this race is so hostile and violent it is going to be armed, but exactly with what is anyone's guess. Maybe some kind of party poppers on the outside of it that have the equivalent explosive yield of a nuke or something. Who knows? It's not seen, but again, the vessel does seem to be able to camouflage its appearance, at least on some level, to appear more benign and harmless than it actually is. Upon arrival on a planet, the first thing that they do is they set up shop a little distance away from a human population, their prey. So they set up outside the town that they arrive at. The Big Top sort of arrives on someone's land and is just there. The clowns begin to secure the area, with some clowns going out to patrol the area around the ship and secure it from any of the, again, upright monkey meatbags that might get a little curious and try to come in and disrupt the clowns' activities before they are fully ready. As we do see, their expansion out from the ship was quite slow and gradual, with them eventually disseminating out and capturing a few people and bringing them back before, breaking out the big guns, so to speak, and going on like a little clown parade where they just gathered up everybody and cocooned everyone they encountered and chucked them all onto the machine that they brought with them and then deliver them back to the ship. Considering how many they were getting, it's possible they were, harvesting a larger food supply to take back to their home to feed other clowns some exotic human meatbags. Again, not entirely clear, as they're not exactly forthcoming with their intentions. And, who tells the sheep what's about to happen to it when it goes into the slaughterhouse? They don't. So, the clowns and their technology are phenomenally advanced. As much as it seems almost comical and ludicrous how some of it works, the fact that it is extremely effective at what it does, and these are the equivalent of, bear in mind, these are the equivalent of a few game hunters or some basically farmers with a few tools. These are not military as we understand it. Just imagine what some of their technology is actually capable of. It might look sort of ridiculous and stupid. Maybe they've made it that way on purpose. Maybe the true appearance of their technology is much more advanced sci-fi, but again, they don't want humans to see an advanced energy weapon of some kind that they're carrying around. They want us to see a popcorn gun, so we see a popcorn gun. But then it does actually fire popcorn, so that's sort of taking the wind out of my argument about that anyway. But much of their science and their technology is so advanced, it appears magical from a human point of view. It's that sort of their technology is on a quantum level so far beyond our understanding that to us it is magic. The same as perhaps trying to explain the space shuttle to a man walking the earth 60,000 years ago, whose most advanced piece of technology he's ever encountered is a spear. The idea of you saying this liquid will ignite these big metal heavy thousands of tons worth of equipment is just going to zoom off into space in a big ball of flame might be something that would, mess with his head a little bit, as something that he might not be able to comprehend. And it's the same here. We think we're advanced, we think we know stuff, and then along come a circus from space to humble us and almost take the piss out of us with stupid weapons, because they don't have enough respect for us to actually fight us with real weapons They hit us with popcorn, cotton candy, and shadow puppets. Because they're having a fun time. They're having a laugh. We are such a small, insignificant threat to them that they can play with their food. And they do. And although there's not much that can be said about the Big Top itself, the only really advanced area we see of the ship is one area where we see a series of purple lightning active in the area, and it may be the ship's energy core, it could be its propulsion matrix. It's the only area of the Big Top that appears to display some form of advanced technology openly without being completely camouflaged. This either means they couldn't camouflage it because that would have disrupted its function, or simply, even if they're not trying to camouflage and for whatever reason their technology has evolved to genuinely look like it's in a circus, function eventually sometimes has to win out. The practicality of this is simply how FTL drive, say if that's what it is, or power source of whatever reactor system they're using, this is how it works, this is what it looks like. And no amount of I actually want it to look like a seesaw is gonna work. But that is, realistically, the Big Top. And as much as this was a request, and I thought, oh, this is it's great, I hope I can do this video justice. There's really not much to say about this ship because we don't... Everything about it, to me, is probably an illusion. And if it's not an illusion, it's so far beyond our understanding, it might look like a tent, but that could just be the physics of how it works, and that's just these people's general aesthetic. Or it actually looks like a big rocket ship, or it looks like the Enterprise or a Star Destroyer, but these people... appearances don't matter. This thing is definitely bigger on the inside, which means its actual frame could be substantially larger, and it merely created the appearance of a Big Top circus tent in order to fool, again, the puny monkey meatbags into thinking that's going to be a fun time. Let's actually go in there, and they walk into their own slaughterhouse. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Was the Klowns technology really circus associated? Did it really just happen to evolve coincidentally with a relatively obscure relatively modern Earth tradition of circuses and clowns and other such things? Or is this some kind of wibbly wobbly Time Lord technology TARDIS controlled by evil clowns from outer space? Let me know in the comment section down below, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you for the suggestion for the video. I found it quite interesting to do. I haven't actually seen this film in quite a few years, so I will have to admit I did have to do a little clip watching and Googling to remind myself, and I was like, I really need to rewatch this film. It's bloody awesome. And if you've not seen it, go watch it. With that said, we've made it over to the end of this video. If you have, thank you for watching, and bye-bye.